I can't believe I'm doing this. Hoopers and Hoopettes, thank you for being here today. We got a special one for you. Well, maybe for you. I know I'm gonna hate this, but today we are reacting to Skip Bayless talking about LeBron James. Now, I think a lot of these are much older. I think there might be a couple clips in here from more recent, but these are all fairly old. So for everybody that doesn't know, I'm a LeBron James fan. I think he's the second greatest player behind Michael. I would love to put him slightly higher, but I can't put him past Michael Jordan. Skip Bayless has made a career off the Dallas Cowboys, supporting Tom Brady and bashing Shannon and everybody who questions him about it, and of course, hating on LeBron James. So I wanted to react to this. I know I haven't seen all these clips before, but as a former Division II basketball player, former Division II coach, a guy who has broken down, done film scouting reports, I think I have some insight into some of the stuff that Skip says. So I'm going to try and pause, react to it, and then, maybe clap back a little bit at what Skip says. So this is going to be a pause heavy video, but thank you so much for being here. Please like, follow, comment, subscribe, all those great things, because it helps me grow my channel and it means a ton to me. I'm Tommy Dubs, and this is The Film Room. Oh, by the way, shout out to Brando Flash for putting this compilation together. Go give him a sub on YouTube.
King James is the king. He's the greatest player we've ever seen. He's the most talented player in our game. And everybody gets swept up into this hysteria to crown him just because he's the three-time MVP, while conveniently forgetting the giant glaring asterisk that you just tossed off a second ago. You just touched and went on. And that is that the most talented player in the game in 4 of the last 5 playoffs has flamed out as spectacularly or unspectacularly as any great player we have ever seen. I'm not talking about one flame out, chosen one turning into frozen one. I'm talking about 4 out of.
Okay. So to start off with right away, and I'm going to pull my headphones off when I talk because I don't want to be shouting. Start off right away. You can see what Skip does. This is a question about, was LeBron a first ballot Hall of Famer? And this is all it was. I think that this conversation, it looks like it took place the year after LeBron lost to the Mavericks. So it would have been 2011. So he had already won 2 MVPs. He was on track to win his 3rd this year. And Skip doesn't make that the question, right? Because the question's easy. Yes, he was already one of the greatest players in NBA history, a top 50 player all time in a 7 years time span. I think he was in the league for 8, now 9 years at this point. Yes, he was already a top 50, top 75 player of all time. The fact that Skip took this question and used it as an excuse to bash LeBron James just shows you how he thinks about this, right? It's just, what can I do to bash LeBron? And I think this is what Stephen A. Smith is reacting to. I think he sees this, he's frustrated by it, and that's why we're getting to zoom into him right now. So yes, this isn't the Baseball Hall of Fame. This isn't even the Football Hall of Fame. This is the NBA Hall of Fame, where everybody gets in. LeBron James, especially at this point in his career, pre-championships, was no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer. But no, Skip's going to use it as a chance to bash LeBron.
Of the last 5 years. I'm talking about at the end of his 4th year against the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals, Stephen A. You were there and you witnessed what happened. That was against the unathletic San Antonio Spurs, and LeBron James was pathetic, shooting 35% from the.
Again, a very young LeBron James, who, should get a lot of credit for getting there to begin with, which nobody expected him to do, going against Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, basically all in their prime. Okay, the fact that Skip is using this as a reason to bash LeBron, without even celebrating the fact he got there, it just goes to show you where his mind at when it comes to this stuff. Oh, I'm getting upset already.
Made 69% of his free throws, 20%.
Again, a San Antonio Spurs team who have come out, they've said that their plan was to not let LeBron beat us. Let somebody else beat us. And how did that go? Right? When Larry Hughes or Big Z is the second best player in the team and you're going against Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, you're going to have a bad time.
If you look down, you're going to fall. You're going to have a bad time.
From 3,
you said that he's not the next MJ. Have you ever heard LeBron say that he wanted to be?
All he did was choose to wear number 23 and choose to carry on the powder throwing routine.
Any kid
yes, he thought he was better.
Want to wear Jordan.
Okay, wow. This is just LeBron wore 23 and did the chalk toss because he idolized and looked up to Michael Jordan as a young kid. For Skip to sit there, not answer the question, because LeBron has never said that before, but to say, oh, well, he thought he was better. No, Skip, you're not, this is all conjecture. You're not actually saying anything that makes sense. You're just hypothesizing why LeBron did something the way he did it, and not actually looking deeper or having any facts or any statistics or anything, any reporting that backs up what you're saying. But no, it's a chance to bash LeBron. So why give him the benefit of the doubt? Because that would mean, oh, we actually might have to acknowledge that LeBron isn't an evil bad guy like Skip tries to make him out to be.
He thought he was better.
He thought he was ready to outdo Michael Jordan.
According to who? According to what Skip Bayless thinks, who is obviously an extremely non-biased guy.
That's what he thought coming in. Trust me on this.
Exactly. What? Trust me on this. That was the first ever internet version of trust me, bro. All right, get him, Kevin.
You hate LeBron.
I like LeBron.
Here comes a backhanded compliment. I have not seen this before, but I know there's a backhanded compliment coming right here.
Hate LeBron.
I do not. I think he's actually a very nice guy.
Wait for
In
it.
fact, I think he's too nice of a guy.
There it is.
You know, I would.
Still my move, right? I choose backhand this time.
He had a little more basketball killer in him. I don't think he has enough. Then again,
Okay. Different people need to learn different things in their job. It's why when you work with somebody, you come in, you might be great at public speaking, but you might suck at computers. But you might work with somebody who's great with computers, but sucks at public speaking. That's okay. We're all growing, we're all learning. When Jordan and Kobe came into the league, the people who, everybody loves to say, oh, they had this killer mentality. Sure, but what did they both learn to have to learn to do? Jordan had to learn to trust his teammates. Kobe had to learn to trust his teammates and pass the ball. Jordan was going to come in and get you 35 and get swept in the first round by the Celtics because he didn't trust his teammates around him. It wasn't until Phil Jackson came in and ironically also came to the Lakers and taught Kobe this as well, that those people started to learn to trust their teammates. Now, we've always compared LeBron to Magic. The Jordan and LeBron debate is great because that's, for greatest of all time. But in terms of play style, we look at Jordan and we look at Kobe, and then it's Magic and LeBron. They're two different sides of a coin. Magic and LeBron had to come into the league and learn that I don't always need to pass the ball. I don't always need to trust my teammates. I am the best player on the court. Sometimes the ball needs to be in my hand and I need to go kill it. Skip Bayless would have you know, or have you think, and a lot of people would, that this is a bad thing. No, just different players, different strengths, and you might think one is better than the other, but they're just different. LeBron learned that eventually because he has killed people, he has taken over games, and he knows how to do that. But LeBron at his core has always been a pass-first guy who just happens to be the all-time league NBA scorer, leading scorer in NBA history. So I really want to push back on this concept of, oh, well, it's just this great killer mentality. No, people have to learn different things, and to pretend like he doesn't have that now, it's just wrong.
It's the Orlando Magic after he hit the shot of the century to win the earlier game. The last game of that series, Game 6, to get it back to a Game 7 at Cleveland. You remember this? He was pathetic in that game. And then against the Boston Celtics in Games 5 and 6.
In Game 5.
Okay, but both of them. Both of them.
Yeah, I think Game 6 against the Celtics, he had like a triple-double, right? He went off that game.
He had a triple-double in Game 6.
Okay, yeah, so he did.
He was
Game
still,
5
it
was
was
his
still
bad
not
game.
LeBron performance.
Again, Skip, he was terrible Game 5. Game 6, Stephen A. says, well, he had a triple-double. And Skip says, oh, well, it wasn't actually a LeBron triple-double. Can't give credit. He cannot do it.
That was pathetic, and you know it. And this is the spoiled brat product of those billions of witnesses out there.
What did he say?
This is the guy I've been talking about as he's been the front-running bully all year long, and he finally got punched right in the mouth, and he ran to the locker room in shame. I have been saying for months on this show that all this picture taking and the posing and the flexing, it just doesn't show any class to the game on the court or to his opponents, to me. And it finally all caught up with him because I think the MVP suddenly realized when the clock ran out that he had failed miserably. My man.
Okay, a couple things. To call LeBron James a spoiled brat is one of the most disrespectful things I've ever heard in my life. Kobe came from a family with a dad who played professional basketball. Michael Jordan came from a religious, nuclear family that had a very strong father figure. LeBron James comes from the projects in Akron, Ohio, from a single mother. He never knew his dad. So to call him a spoiled brat is disgusting. Second of all, to say that the way he, flexes or whatever like that, it's disrespectful to the game and it's, showboaty, whatever. So many players in NBA history have done this. Michael Jordan did this. You know who one of the worst offenders of this is, but we all think it's cute because he's adorable, is Steph Curry. Think of all the celebrations and things that Steph Curry does on the court. He shimmies, he does the night, he does the bang, he does the three up in the air, but we never talk about it because he's Steph and he's adorable. But when LeBron James does it, he's showboating, he disrespects the game. As for the handshaking thing, sure, it's not a great look. But to think that he's the first player to ever do this and that we need to nitpick this apart from him, it's just wrong. Bird did it to Isaiah when the Pistons beat the Celtics. Isaiah did it to the Bulls when the Bulls beat the Pistons. It happens, and especially at the end of the game, as somebody who's played in high-level games and has lost high-level games, to know the frustration, the last thing you want to do is go shake somebody's hand. So the fact that we're nitpicking this and using this as an excuse to tear this man down, it's really, really, in my mind, so nitpicky and just so disrespectful to what LeBron has done on and off the court.
And Tim Duncan won 5 rings with only 1 finals loss thanks to Ray Allen after
LeBron James did not win that series because of Ray Allen. Ray Allen hit a big shot to put the game into overtime that the Heat then had to go win. If I'm not mistaken, games are more than 1 shot. The fact that it got to 6, the fact that that game, the Heat were in that game, was because of a 16-point fourth quarter from LeBron, who cut the lead from 10 down to 5, with obviously the help of his teammates, but 16 points. And then I think it was LeBron who hit the shot that cut it from 94 to 92, from 94-89 to 94-92. And then Skip, who always says LeBron runs away from the moment, took that shot, missed it, and then, obviously Bosh rebounded and kicked it out to Ray Allen. But being up 3 doesn't win you anything. And certainly 1 shot does not win you anything. And then they had to go back in game 7 and win again. So no, Skip, it's like saying that, Paxton bailed out Michael Jordan. No, he made a shot. That was his job. Nobody wins a championship by himself. And I hate when people do this.
long rebound, Chris Bosh, boom, into the corner to Ray Allen. Money. LeBron James is the most protected superstar in sports history.
I can't stand this man. Okay. To pretend that Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Michael Jordan had to deal with social media, had to deal with a 24-hour sports news cycle, or anything close to LeBron, the amount of hate that he has gotten online, offline, from people like you, and say that he's the most protected athlete in history, it just goes to show you how deluded he is, right? Just even Skip by himself. There was nobody like that for Jordan. There was nobody that for 20 years bashed Jordan the way that Skip has bashed LeBron James. It's just
that he was allowed to get away with what he did yesterday.
What did he do?
He sat there for, how long did it go? Maybe an hour? It seemed like it went on an hour.
Well, he walk out, you get mad. He give you a conversation for an hour, you get mad. What you want from
I didn't get...
By the way, Shannon is a national icon. I love him. He is obviously biased for LeBron, but I actually do think that he makes some good points.
Mad?
It just turns my stomach when all these blind witnesses, try to delude themselves and the basketball public into believing that LeBron James is better than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Who would win a one-on-one game between those two?
Michael Jordan's 85!
LeBron James.
Okay, a couple things there. The thing that frustrates me about people that debate Skip is they let him get away with this all the time. So many of us are so used to having the conversation, LeBron or Jordan. And I think that there is a really good and an easy case to make for Jordan. I think Jordan's greater, and I'm a bigger LeBron fan. It's easier to make a case for Jordan being the GOAT than LeBron. His resume is more impeachable. And Skip thrives in those circumstances. The problem is, and I'm picking up my pen because I'm going into teacher mode. The problem is, Skip Bayless does not think that LeBron is the second greatest player of all time. Skip Bayless has LeBron in the 8 or the 9 spot. And the fact that nobody ever calls him on it and says, okay, you know what, Skip? If I ever debated Skip, this is what I would say. I say, okay, you know what, Skip, fine. Jordan is greater than LeBron James all time. How is he number 8 on your list? How have there been 7 or 8 players better than LeBron James in their career? Name them and we'll go through them one by one and I will pick them apart. Because it's hard to argue that a man with 4 rings, 4 finals MVPs, and 4 regular season MVPs, something that only one other man has ever accomplished, Michael Jordan, is not the second greatest player of all time. And the fact that nobody ever does that, it just drives me crazy because they're coming into the debate with a whole different set of rules than Skip Bayless is going into the debate. Second of all, a one-on-one game. Unfortunately, Skip, a one-on-one game is not how basketball is played. It's a 5-on-5 game. You can take Jordan for the last 6 minutes of the game. I'll take LeBron for the other 42, and we'll see who has a more successful season.
James, you should have taken that game over. Okay,
you don't make any sense.
Now let's get to just last year. And you've been on this soapbox all year long. Games 4, 5, and 6 against the Dallas Mavericks, disappeared, ran from the basketball, wanted no part of the pressure of trying to close out an inferior Dallas Mavericks team.
Now, again, I think Cubans called him out on this. I have to go back and watch those games, and maybe that'll be my next reaction. Let me know if you want me to do that. I have to see what really happened in those games because I haven't broken down those games in a long time. But Cuban has come out and said that it's the way they guarded LeBron that forced him to do that. I'm not sure. In my mind, I don't defend LeBron for that. That's obviously a collapse that has to go on his resume. It's part of the reason why I think he's the second greatest player of all time as opposed to the first greatest player of all time. But I need to go back and rewatch those.
Dan Gilbert accused LeBron James of quitting in the last 3 losses to the Boston Celtics, which effectively ended, obviously.
Yeah, because sure, Dan Gilbert is a reliable source. The guy, the owner of the Cavs who was pissed when LeBron left and said we were going to win a championship before the Miami Heat ever did, and then kind of begrudgingly brought him back onto the team. That's a good guy to listen to, Skip.
Well, we know that didn't happen, though, Skip.
Well, that's what he accused him of.
Okay, and I know you can't see it right here, but this full quote says, MJ says Kobe is better than LeBron, something about 5 that beats 3. Jordan is on record saying that rings should not be a factor in the GOAT debate. He said that Bill Russell has 11. Does that make him the GOAT? No, it's a combination of things. So the fact that MJ says Kobe is better than LeBron because 5 is better than 3 is super hypocritical and disingenuous. And it's easier for Jordan to defend his case as the GOAT if he's being compared to Kobe than LeBron, because the comparison is 1-to-1. Kobe or MJ, everybody knows MJ was better than Kobe. But when you bring LeBron up, a guy with a different play style, a different resume, it becomes more interesting because LeBron is the final evolution of Magic and Kobe is the lesser evolution of Jordan. So again, it's just not from a non-biased, credible source when Jordan says this.
And members of LeBron's inner circle leaked news that was broken on ESPN that LeBron had to be sedated before a couple of those games because of a locker room issue with another teammate. So just for the record, I thought that was a bunch of baloney, but he got...
Again, I don't know the issue. He might be talking about Delonte West, that whole thing. But again, it's just Skip talking in generalities or, a trust me, bro. Oh, I thought that was baloney. Do you know Skip? Or are you just talking? Are you just yapping?
I thought it showed even less class to duck the media after the game than to duck Dwight Howard's handshake because he left the guys he had called all along his complimentary players to face the music after the game. No class there and no class on the court didn't surprise me.
So
again, to say that LeBron is the most protected person in NBA history, or I think he said athlete in the history of sports, and then to have a conversation that made a national news segment saying that, oh, I think he disrespected the media on Dwight Howard because he didn't shake his hand. It's just hypocritical. It's just Skip not knowing what he's talking about. It's just Skip saying whatever he can say to bash LeBron. It's totally inconsistent.
All I ever hear is what LeBron does, but nobody wants to bring up what he didn't do.
Because he's a great player, Skip. Because he's a great player, and we can appreciate greatness. And that's what drives me crazy about not just Skip, but a lot of people in the media. And that is they cannot have a conversation about X player and Y player, especially LeBron and Jordan, without saying, oh, you know what? LeBron is great. Jordan is great. I have Jordan slightly greater than LeBron, or I have Jordan slightly greater than Kareem, even if you don't think LeBron is up there. It is always with these guys. It is LeBron is better, or Jordan is better, or LeBron is better. And that is because LeBron is amazing and Jordan was terrible. Or that is because Jordan was amazing and LeBron is terrible. The fact that Skip cannot make an argument about why Michael Jordan is the GOAT without bashing the hell out of LeBron James, I think is one of the most disgusting things that these media people do nowadays. Just make an argument about why you think Jordan is better. I know it sells. I know this controversy sells, but it diminishes everything that LeBron has done for the game, what a great person he's been around the game. And it drives me crazy. I need to take a break. I need a soda. Can you bring me a soda, Alex? Thank you. Alex is my fake personal assistant.
The guy that people are saying is the best player on the planet revealed himself to be the mentally weakest superstar we've ever seen. Would that have been
mentally weak? I will not rant as long. To play in the NBA for 22 straight years at the level that he's played in the league is the opposite of mentally weak. That's something that Jordan can't say. Jordan played, he won his 3, and then what did he do? He retired because his dad died and baseball, and he came out and said he was also physically and mentally exhausted. And he came back, played 3 more years, and then what was it? Oh, well, I don't want to play for a rebuilding franchise, and I don't want to play for another coach other than Jerry Krause, and he retired again. Jordan retired 3 times. LeBron has yet to retire once. To call what LeBron has done mentally weak is so disingenuous, and certainly to say the most weak mental athlete in NBA history, it's just so wrong.
And Kobe, would Kobe have allowed that to happen in an NBA Finals?
No, Kobe
you know, and I know
lead.
It would not have happened.
Kobe would just blow a 3-1 lead to Phoenix. In the West. But hold on.
You're saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer just because he's about to be a 3-time MVP?
Skip Bayless.
Are you kidding me?
Just recline in your grandfather's chair and sip on some latte or something and just listen.
Yeah, I don't think
he had 9 turnovers, so I'll give you that.
Hold on.
He was a disaster in the fourth quarter of that game. A disaster.
Okay, we're going to leave it right
I watched it with these 2 lazy, repaired eyes.
27.
Again, it's all eye test for Skip, and this is one of the biases that people say you should avoid, and that is cognitive bias, and that is going to places to reaffirm what you think you already know. Skip's eyes and his heart and his mind tell him one thing. He refuses to look past that. He refuses to look past his bias. And this is somebody who wears Jordans to the set every single day. For him to not be able to get past that and realize, oh, you know what? Maybe because I covered Jordan, I want to believe that he was better, and therefore I have to bash LeBron. Okay, now look, I know I responded to a lot of different stuff here, and I appreciate you guys being here. Look, it really frustrates me because I think my main takeaway from this video is I wish that we could live in a society when it comes to sports that the conversation doesn't have to be one is better than the other because the better one was awesome and the other one sucked. It can't just be one is greater. One is great, the other's great, but I think this one's slightly greater. And that's what frustrates me about it. I need to go catch my breath, but please be sure to like, comment, sub. Tell me what you want me to react to next because I love doing these videos, but this is the film room. I am Tommy Dubs, and I am going to go put my head in some ice water like Ashton Hall, because I am heated up. Woo!